Okay, so having carried out your analysis, you should hopefully have some idea or be starting to focus down on what a problem would be, and then a starting to come up with some ideas for a product that you could design and make to solve that problem. So, what we need to do now is look at existing products that are similar to what you are thinking about maybe making to get some kind of ideas and inspiration. So in this particular example, the person last year was doing the zoo the zoo problem that was about educating children about endangered species. So what they've done is they figured that if you're going to work with children, then what sort of things are children interested in? So they've kind of come up with lots of possible ideas. So pop-up books, leaflets, games, toys, things like that. You can read those yourself. And then having looked at those, they've narrowed down on 4 possible ideas. So they've looked at pop-up books, leaflets, 3D puzzles, and some kind of online app or game. What they've done then is they've then looked for each of those 4 ideas. They've done a little bit of sort of research and well, not really research, but focusing down on what those things are using these titles here. So the function and purpose of what is the function and purpose of the pop-up book, what would be the function and purpose of the leaflet would be here, and so on. The ergonomics and the user needs. So the ergonomics is kind of how you use it, how you interact with it. They've looked at the aesthetics of it, so what it looks like, again for each one. They've looked at the materials that it's made from and the sustainability issues with using those materials. And they've then linked it, they looked at the context and said how well does that link to the context? Would it work in terms of coming up with a solution? So they've kind of gone very, very wide with possible products, narrowed it down further to 4, and then they've decided on a pop-up book. So they've looked at 3 different pop-up books. We've got book A here is the dolphin one. Book B is this kind of one with the elephants and the band, they're playing in some kind of band or something, I don't know. And then this one here is book C. And they've done a more detailed analysis. So they've looked at these headings, and these are the headings I suggest you use. They've looked at aesthetics, again, that's what it looks like. The materials and processes. So the materials, what it's made of, the processes, kind of how it's made, as best as you can, okay? You're not going to be able to know everything, but as best as you can, how it's made. The production and just in time. So again, is it a mass-produced product? Is it a batch product or one-off product? The sustainability. So again, how those materials that it's made from, are they sustainable? Could they be made more sustainable? The user requirements. So what if you're going to use it? What are those requirements? The cost, trends, the user and client opinions, purpose and function. Whether it's a good or a bad design, I mean that's a little subjective, but it's their opinion. Quality and safety, social, moral, and cultural issues, and the user requirements. And then from that, they were then able to gain a lot of information about pop-up books. So what I suggest you really need to do is have a read of these titles, have a read of what they've said themselves, and try and apply. This is one way of doing it. They've done this. They've applied this to their project. The other example for this is this person was doing the how can you make products to make you meal more comfortable at a festival. So they've looked at 2 quite sort of famous camper vans. Again, they'd already decided at this point they were going to do something to do with accommodation. So they've looked at the Airstream, which is the kind of it's 1936, but kind of it looks like 1950s kind of American sort of camper, and they've used these headings. So again, you could use these if you wanted. They've gone form and materials, so form being what it looks like, cost, environment, customers, size, function, and safety. And again, if you read what they've said, you'll be able to kind of use that to help guide what you're going to do. They've done it for the Airstream there, and they've also done it for the camper van as well, the VW camper. So this is just another way of doing it. Obviously they've put pictures and things in there as well. So there's that way. This is one way of doing it, and this one here is another way of doing it. they both scored pretty highly for this section, so they're both reasonable methods. This one, just notice one has got a conclusion as well. It's always not necessarily a bad idea to put a conclusion in.